Okay, so as promised, I am bringing you today's edition of Answered Question by Mark, rather, and I have a guest, Charlie Mullins, OBE nonetheless. It's lovely to have you on, Charlie. It really is. I do appreciate your time. I know you're a very busy man, so I do appreciate you talking to me. What I want to go through, you probably know what I'm going to be wanting to talk to you about. I want to talk about politics. I want to talk about Labour. I want to talk about reform. But first of all, where I want to go first of all, Charlie, is just where you're at the minute. So I wanted to start with what you're up to right now, really. So my question is, you built up Pimlico Plumbers from scratch in 1979. I believe that to be true. And you earned yourself the title, the UK's richest plumber. You sold the business in 2021. Please correct anything if I'm wrong. And you find yourself at the start of a new venture, which is WeFix. So my question is, how did this come about? Was it always the plan to do this? And more importantly, why now in the current climate?
Right, so I'm not sure which bit you want me to answer, but you said lots of bits there. So the question is what, Mark? Sorry.
The question is, you've obviously started on a new venture, WeFix, yeah? So my question is, how did this come about? Was this always planned that you were going to start this business? And more importantly, from my point of view, is why at this particular time with the climate that we're currently in?
Okay, yeah, great question. This was never planned. No, once we sold Pimlico in 2021 September, that was me done with the industry. And you know, it's 3 years now that just over 3 years ago. So we had a clause in it that we couldn't sort of start up again within 3 years. But we never planned to start up, if I'm being honest. But all of a sudden, we've sort of noticed there's a big gap in the market again. A lot of old customers have been coming back onto my grandson and other people that work with us and for us, and also come on to me, saying that, you know, they missed the service that we was offering them. And that gives us an idea again that, you know, I was pretty much done with it all. You know, I've got 4 children, 11 grandchildren, 7 great-grandchildren. I know I don't look old enough, but I am. And you know, we just thought to ourselves, well, you know, let's go again, because there's definitely a big gap in the market for a top quality service company in London. So we actually started putting this together about 18 months, 2 years ago. We got a building just coincidentally up the road from the previous company. You know, it's a great location. And we got this building, and you know, we've been working on it for about 18 months, and it just so happens that we could start trading from October this year, or 2024, sorry. And that's when we started trading. So the 3 years clause is up. We didn't plan it. There's definitely a big gap in the market. I believe that we learned so much in 41 years of having Pimlico, so much knowledge and experience. And now I've realised that we don't just want to leave that sitting there. Let's use it again. And many people that are working for me now worked for me before, and you know, they've all got the experience and knowledge. And we was good before, but we will be a different level this time.
Well, that's what I wanted to touch on, actually, because I read that your plan is to create a £500 million business. I think is that the end goal?
Yeah,
I've read in a couple of places, £500 million business. But is that possible under the current conditions that we're in? You know, you know, we're not in the EU anymore. You know, we've got a ragtag government in charge, which are putting off businesses rather than embracing businesses. So is it a realistic target? I mean, what sort of time frame are you using to get to that figure?
Okay, well, first of all, I didn't put that figure about, but I quite like it. That's why I said yes. I mean, it's a wonderful figure. And the fact that we sold the previous company for 140 odd mil, and if we'd have kept it, that would have been probably 250 mil now, because we was booming. So, you know, if I feel that that's worth about 250 today, or it was when we had it, then a 500 mil isn't sort of out of it. It wouldn't be out of the equation. What type of time bracket would you put on that? I really don't know. I mean, you know, you just don't know because of today's climate. I mean, there's a lot going against it at the moment for any business, but there always appears that people are going to need plumbers and heating engineers, and computers are not going to take that over, and they're not work from home people. So I feel there's a big gap in the market.
Yeah, 100%.
Not the best time, no, of course. I mean, I've never
Yeah.
known a worse time, but people say to me, "Oh, you're knocking the Labour, you're knocking sort of the UK. It's not so good, and standard of living's gone down." I'm saying you're right. And they say, "Well, why did you start a business?" We started it because this has been put together for 2 years, and we're not going to pull the plug before we get going.
No, of course not.
But rightly, Mark, sorry, I know, but rightly, if we'd known that Labour was getting in, we would not have done it.
Okay. No, I wouldn't blame you, to be honest. So, is this is long term there? Is it just based in London at the moment, or will you branch out around the UK, or is it just predominantly London?
Well, at the moment, definitely London, because that is the marketplace that we sort of had before, and there's plenty of work in London, so that's our main aim. Where we go in from there, you just don't know at the moment. I mean, I'm going to leave that more to the family to decide. I don't want to sort of make them sort of ideas going out there. But once it lifts off, it could be something that gets franchised in different areas. I mean, certainly we could have done it with a previous company, but we never. I think you lose control of it. But, the world's moved on now, so you never know. But I think if we dominate the London area, we'll be more than happy with that. And we would get to that 500 mil value of it, undoubtedly.
Okay. So, when I announced that I was going to be interviewing you, you've got a lot of love out there, Charlie. But you've also you've got a lot of love out there, but you've also got a few people that want me to ask you a couple of hard questions. So I'm going to do that because I know you're expecting it. So the first question was, and this has come from quite a few of my followers: have you moved to Spain? Are you located in Spain at the minute? Are you located in the UK?
I cannot believe it's a question people are still asking.
I know.
Every newspaper it's been in for the last 6 months, radio, TV. I've done interviews from there, and yes, I've gone back to England, but the answer is yes, I have moved to Spain. I moved immediately. Labour got into government, and that's what I said I would do if they get in, and that's what I've done. But unfortunately, you've got a lot of people that listen and they can't work out that you can be in Spain and be on the internet. You can be in Spain and still talk to people and still make things happen. And you can even get an aeroplane back to the UK, and people are just baffled by that one.
Every now and again,
yeah. I mean, they're like, I thought you fucked off and all this, nonsense. And and they thought right. But of course, I come back. I have family there. I have business there. I was going to say friends, but I wouldn't necessarily say I'll go back for friends, because when you get a villa and a swimming pool, you get a lot of friends. They come
from your way. Yeah.
Exactly.
I was just about to say. So listen, I knew that was the answer, but I had to ask it because I had so many people asking me it. So I've read articles, Charlie, that talks about we're going back to COVID times now, and current conditions. So I've read articles that slam your recruitment process, and what I mean by that is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I've read in a few different places, and some of my followers have asked me to bring this up with you about your recruitment process. And one of the things that you stipulated in your recruitment process is you only want applications from 2 genders, and that's one's a male and one's a female, and you would not entertain anybody else that thinks they're identifying as a cat or whatever they want to be for that day. Is there any truth in that? Has that passed your lips, or am I being fed duff information?
No, look, when somebody, if anybody comes and works for WeFix, they'll be male or female.
Yeah.
If they want to be something else, they need to go somewhere else. I mean, we're not going to have Eric the bricklayer being Mary in call centre the next day, you know what I mean? It's male or female, and that's it, simple. I mean, ain't a problem. They come in, they don't stack up, we don't interview them. I mean, that's it. I don't feel it. I think it just makes things very difficult in the workplace. A lot of people are uncomfortable with it, and I'm not knocking it. I'm purely saying from a business point of view, it's not going to work for us in WeFix. And I can't have a geezer going out, or I don't know if it's a geezer or a woman, I'm not sure, but a woman going out and I'm not sure how it's working, but you can't have someone turning up like making out he's a woman and he's a plumber and he's got like makeup and high heels on. People are just not. They're not going to be comfortable with it. And the same in the office. We're not going to have he was a bricklayer last week and now he's like, Mary in reception. It's just not. It's not comfortable.
No, it's not. I'm 100% on your wavelength. I mean, I'm not sure if you know my backstory, but when I was in court,
I do.
When I was in court, one of the posts that I was presented to the cause was, and I said, if I had £1 for every gender, I'd have £2. And they grilled me about that in court, and I was like, well, it's common fact, isn't it? Surely, So I'm totally on your wavelength there, mate.
Yeah. Just on that subject, Mark. I mean, look, we're trying to be brainwashed that you can be this different gender, you can be this, that, and the other. And I have 4 children, 11 grandchildren, 7 great grandchildren, and many of them are females. And would they be comfortable with a male using their change rooms and sort? The answer is no. It doesn't matter how much these people want to brainwash us. If you don't buy into it, you don't buy into it. And that's it, really. I mean, I'm not saying anything that's
It's insane at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just being like a normal conversation. If people are happy with that, happy with it. But I believe you have children, do you, Mark?
I've got a boy, yeah.
Yeah, and it'd be probably the same thing. It just won't be comfortable for them, and they're not going to brainwash me or my family or millions of people I know. That's the way forward. I mean, with a bit of luck, when Trump is in on the 17th, he said within 3 days he will sort the gender nonsense out. And that's it. And he said straight away. I mean, he's president of the United States of America, and he said straight away it'd be male and female. I'm doing away with all this males coming into female sport. He will wipe it out completely, and hopefully we'll follow suit. I mean, we're just being brainwashed by these people that you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've had my lads. I know in the school that I send my lad to, and it's a Christian school. We're a Christian family. Of a book that was being read of Johnny being with Dave, and I was like, nah, that's not happening. We can't have this. It's supposed to be a Christian school, and it's so much embedded now into schools and places. Even churches are embracing things that the Bible says, is
nonsense. You're exactly right there. And when I was at school, the book said Adam and Eve. What's changed? Nothing's changed, does it? I mean, that's it. It's as I say, they're just trying to brainwash us to believe all this nonsense. Look at Starmer, 6 months ago, couldn't even identify who a woman is. And he's prime minister running our country. I mean, it's we just need to stand up and if we don't believe in it, we don't believe in it. And I think that's what we just got to stand up more and say what we think. And if you get more people like me, you, and many others out there just saying that what we're saying is right. These people have got it wrong. They've got it wrong. And they're just brainwashing us. And they're not going to be brainwashing people like me.
No, me either. I mean, I was sent to jail for posts around that sort of thing. It was around the Southport time. I spent time in prison because I had an opinion. I was acquitted by jury. It was quite
I know you was acquitted. Yeah, I was following the case.
And all that's happened from jailing me is making me more wanting to shout and scream from the rooftops of what's right. And I think the issue that we've got in the UK at the minute is people are scared. People are scared to say certain things in case they're going to end up with a knock on the door from the police. And it's just crying shame that that's the way it is, really, because, like you say, we need more people like yourself, like me, like the David Athertons of the world, etc., that will tell it how it is and will not budge from that.
That's no right. Look,
what's going on,
Mark. As you know, you're probably the only one that's has what you say got released on it because you pleaded not guilty. Because why should you admit something you've not done wrong? And I think you're the only one I know that has come away from it. And where are the others? They turn to plead guilty and you're wrong. You're and all this. We're not wrong. We're right. It's it's these other people that I'm using the word brainwash because that's what they've done. And I see so many people coming on interviews now, and they're in a different world. They're in a different world, and it's just not right. And anyhow, look, I don't listen to it. My family don't listen to it, and millions of people I know, they all come up to me and go, "You're right what you're saying, Charlie. You're right what you're saying." And when Trump come out that about agenda, I thought, what a man that is, eh? What a man. You know what I mean? If he's going to do that, imagine what else he's going to do.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to him coming in. And like you say, I know your thought process. That's why you're an account that I do follow and I do watch every day, because you tell it how it is, and that's what I respect in somebody that will tell it how it is without being brainwashed into saying something else. So another question for you then. Now, carrying on from this, I've been asked by quite a few of my followers. I'll give them a call out because I said I would. Justin, Carl Jackson, Northern Lass, SS Rambo. Who else we got? Carl Jackson, I've already said that. Now, this is all to do with jabs, Charlie.
Yeah.
Around COVID time. So I just want to read you something that I was sent, just to give you an outline of where they're coming from.
Yeah, of course.
Ask you the question. So it was a question I was going to ask you, Mark. It was an experimental shot authorised under the EUA only, so not a fully licensed product, and the manufacturers were indemnified by the public purse, which should have raised alarm bells. This made the safe and effective mantra utter bullshit. So it beggars the question, why did you, Charlie, feel that he had the right to strip his employees of their individual bodily autonomy in order to keep their jobs, despite this being in contradiction to the Nuremberg codes, as it was only after the first round of jabs that the list of side effects only became published? So I've had dozens of people that want me to ask you this, and they basically go along the lines of they don't agree with what you did, but they think you're a great bloke. And I have my opinions on the jabs. Everybody has their opinions. So the question really is, knowing what you know now, if the same sort of situation came up again, another pandemic, would you be as quick to do what you did previously again? Now, I know that some of it's not true because you've answered the question.
Look, I was going to say, Mark, what we should go back to is what people are accusing me of doing. I've done nothing, right? I forced nobody to have a jab, right? At the time, the country was all over the place. We was being told that by the government and scientists that, we need to be jabbed. We can't get on an aeroplane. You can't do this. You can't do that. Can't go in a restaurant. Can't go to work. And from my point of view, to protect my customers and my staff, we put every measure in place that we could. We had a machine in our reception. We had guys with testing equipment. We had all the safety stuff on: masks, shoes, gloves, all the sanitizer. We've done everything we can, and we got the testers before the government. And I had engineers was testing themselves prior to going in people's property. Customers was asking, has this guy had a jab, or has this woman had a jab? People in the office were saying, I don't want to be, with people in it, whose jab do I? So what I said at the time, this is coming towards the end of COVID, and I said, from September, I will not be taking on any new staff that have not been jabbed. That's the statement I made.
Yeah.
That's what I made. Now I didn't force anybody, right? I didn't force anybody to have a jab. By that time, most people were starting to have the first jab. You with me? So it was all starting to work the way we was being governed. So, and then when September come, all of a sudden, COVID disappeared. So we never implemented what I said we was going to do. But that's a totally different story from what everybody makes out. I forced them. Current staff that was with me, that nothing changed. But if I'm being honest, a lot of them were already had it done. Like myself, had just the one then, and that was what was being guided into. So all the people that are attacking me, they've got it wrong. I done nothing. I didn't implement it. That was what I was following. Government guidelines, was following what scientists was telling us. The well was all over the place. I mean, what baffles me is, why don't these people take it up with the government that was forcing it a bit more. Why don't they take it up with the airlines that wouldn't let you on? I mean, I was coming to Dubai, I think it must have been September or something. No, was it then? Before then, sorry. And I'm at the airport and they said, you're not getting on, you ain't had the jab. So I'd stayed at the hotel that night there. I went and got jabbed at the airport and I got on the aeroplane. But I had a choice, you know, in other words, they didn't force me. But why don't they take it up with people that literally, you know, sort of said to someone, you ain't getting on here and unless you've been jabbed. All I said to people was, I won't be employing anybody after September or from September that hasn't been jabbed. I mean, is that a crime?
No,
I mean, honestly, I've got no apology to make.
No, you haven't. No, you haven't. It's I think the confusion was, Charlie, is I think people have got the end of the wrong stick when they think that you were prepared to sack individuals that are currently employed by you that wouldn't get the jab, and I think that's where the
look, I mean, I can't stop them thinking what they want to think, Mark.
No, of course
but
not,
that wasn't my intention. You know, customers was asking for whoever's coming round as he had the jab, and we was complying with, you know, what the customers want. I was complying with all the safety regulations to allow people to come into work. We done nothing wrong. I mean, we went over and above to protect all our staff and customers. But would I have sacked somebody because they haven't had the jab? I'm not that stupid. You know, I mean, you know what these pests are like. They're like, you've only got to look at them and they, you know, they start wanting to make a complaint. So, you know, we that was not the intention. I think I'll tell you what it would have come to, it would have been that people that have been jabbed will only work in a certain area and the people that are not, they're working somewhere else. And, you know, if a customer asked me, I mean, I think we would have said to customers if they were getting an engineer and they never asked them whether jabbed or not, I think we'd make them aware and let the customer make that decision. But that's it, really. I mean, people are blowing it up. They're blowing up for years. I get all these. I'm not saying your people are pests. And the guy who done all that research, etc., he's got to remember he done that research once, you know, once COVID's finished, and he said it should have made alarm bells ring. Yeah, it's right, but not to me. You know, it's the government and the scientists that should have rung them, had the alarm bells ringing. All I've done was doing the best I could for the staff and customers, and you know, that's what they wanted. And I say nobody thought. I mean, I had my own family that worked for me, and they always said, we're not getting jabbed. It's up to you. You know, ain't a problem. You know, whatever you want to do, that's it. But you got to remember, the world was all over the place.
It was, Charlie. And it begs the question: the people that asked that question of you, and I mean, I had dozens of the same question. Would they say the same if they was in charge of a company, you know, trying to follow guidelines and things like that? And I don't think they would be. But
the other thing, Mark, it's having hindsight of what's gone on. It's an easy one to answer the question. And probably like people say to me now, what would your reaction be now, Charlie? Now we know a lot more about it. Well, what we don't know, Mark, is how many people that jab saved, do we? No. So if somebody, you know, scientists come out and said, well, you know, 9 out of 10 people, or, you know, that's not 1 out of 100 could possibly be ill because of it, but 99 people will keep their life, I would go with the decision of having it done. But I wouldn't be forcing anybody. I mean, you've got to weigh the percentages up. And, you know, unfortunately, many people have got injured or it appears lost their life through it. But how many people did the jab save? I'm not promoting the jab because I know I'm going to have all the haters on or the people that disagree with me. But I'm being as direct as I can. We followed government guidelines. And at the time, that appeared to be the best thing. But I haven't done anything. I mean, why don't they come on to me and say, well done, Charlie, for making sure your guy had a test before he went in someone's house and you had all the equipment and they got tested at the office every morning on a machine. Why don't people come on to me about that and say, look how much you protected people and sort of done it the correct way, you know? We've done everything we should have done. And that was it, really.
No, I appreciate that, and I'll be interested to see when I post this later if that has changed anybody's thought process. So if you're one of them people that did want me to put this question to Charlie, please comment and let me know once Charlie's answered, which I think he's answered really well, if that changes your opinion at all. Okay.
Mark, let me just jump in again. Sorry, mate. That guy that come up with all the medical evidence. I mean, he's not a doctor, the geezer, is he? He's come up with all that. He's done his research, but that's what the government and scientists should have done. Not people like me. We're going along with what they're guiding us into is the best thing. But I wasn't forcing anyone to have a jab, and nothing changed on the company. Nothing changed. You know what I mean? Nothing changed at all. I mean, thank God it just disappeared overnight, which is surprisingly. Anyhow, moving on. Anyhow, look, to all the people that you see it how you see it, and that's the truth. Anyhow, and if you still think I'm wrong, then that's your opinion. I mean, everyone's got an opinion. It's like arseholes. We've all got one, isn't it?
I honestly do appreciate you answering the question.
Sorry,
what I want to do now is just go a bit more generic. I want to talk a little bit about Labour. I want to talk about reform. But I've got 5 names for you, Charlie. And I would like you, off the cuff thoughts, just a couple of sentences on each of these names that I'm about to give you, your opinion of them. So the first name, Keir Starmer.
When you say percentage, is what? I
just want your off the cuff thoughts.
Okay,
what first comes to your head if I say the name Keir Starmer to you, what you think about Keir Starmer? Just a few sentences.
Proper cunt. I know that ain't what you want, but yeah.
No, that's exactly what I want.
Waste of time.
I call him it every day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and if the next one's gone, it's got to be that other fella. What's his name? The mayor, isn't it?
No, I think you'll like the next one. Donald Trump.
100%. Absolutely 100% with the guy. He will change the world. He will get the UK booming again if Starmer goes and Nigel gets in. Absolutely, 100%. I mean, what a man. He's been trying to be assassinated, and he's pulled through that, and he's out there leading the United States of America. We need to look up to people like him.
100%. I'm in full agreement. I like Donald Trump. I'm really looking forward to when he takes office. Sadiq Khan. That's the one you were waiting for, isn't it?
Well, I've been in trouble before because I made a comment which was incorrect. I said something I shouldn't have said. Yeah, waste of time. I mean, for me, he's the enemy. He's the enemy. He's damaged or ruined London. He's ruined London, ruined businesses. One man on his own, they'll give him a knighthood.
It's crazy. I mean, absolutely crazy.
I've got to say it anyhow, but yeah, I didn't expect him. Oh no, I won't do that one. Yeah, the knighthood with the sword. So they've done that for him. Yeah, but yeah, what a disgrace. Absolutely disgrace.
Full agreement.
It's a failure, and he's got a knighthood. I mean,
rewarding failure. That's all it says. Rewarding failure. Knife crimes up. The city's unrecognisable as I see it now. And they're knighting a guy. I mean, balmy, absolutely balmy in my book.
Absolutely. I mean, that is. Yeah. I mean, I haven't got a good word to say against the guy. He's racist. He's destroyed London, absolutely destroyed it, and he's charging normal working people, to be able to go to work or go about their business. I mean, he's a criminal. I'd like to see him in prison if I'm being honest. I think they big up something that don't stack up with him because, why is he destroyed London and the economy? Why? I mean, we're the most congested. London is the most congested city in Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't knight someone for that, do you? I think you sack them, didn't you?
If
he works on a company, or he worked for me, he'd be gone the same day.
Yeah.
He would be gone. As soon as he makes, the man's just so wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry.
It's funny you say prison because the next name is Tommy Robinson.
Okay. Don't know too much about him. What I do know is that there all seems to be controversy going on around him, and there's a lot. I don't know what's true, what ain't true, but I think the decision that Nigel Farage made is the correct decision.
Okay.
But I don't know what Tommy Robinson does, what he don't do, and but there just seems to be a lot of controversy. But I mean, maybe ask me the question: would I employ Tommy Robinson? The answer is no. And if Nigel Farage has said the same, that's it.
It's a funny one. The reform and Tommy split. I've posted over the last couple of days that look, you can support reform, but you can also support Tommy. They're never going to be entwined because Tommy doesn't want to be part of the party. Nigel doesn't want to be part of the party, and people seem to be creating this thing that ultimately could split the right. And
Of course it would. Yeah. I mean, look, Tommy Robinson, I think does some good things, and some other things don't seem to go down so well. I mean, he's in prison for a reason, isn't he? You know, I mean, he ain't there just because like he sort of like, you know, helped an old lady across the road. There's got to be something why he's in there. But on that side of it, would I employ him? No. Nigel Farage saying no, I think it's a great thing for reform, and that's what we need. That's what we need, like people standing up and being honest. And, you know, it doesn't make Tommy Robinson a bad guy, but as I say, if I don't employ him, it don't make someone a bad guy, but it just means they're not suitable for me. And I think what Farage done was a brilliant thing. I mean, you know, it just shows the type of character he is. He's prepared to put his head above the parapet wall and say it as it is. And I admire that.
I was about to say the same thing. The one thing I admire about it, the whole situation, is that he stuck to his guns. You know, he's come under certain pressures, and he's still stuck to where he is. Right. So I think I'm right in saying that you despise Labour, correct?
Yeah. Mark, you said 5 names. Was that 5?
Oh no, it wasn't actually. One more. Elon Musk.
Oh, that's what I was waiting for.
Elon Musk.
Okay.
Sorry, I missed
that. Elon Musk. Okay. I respect Elon Musk as a businessman. You can't fail to respect him on that. The fact that he's slagging off or saying Nigel's not right, I find that difficult because a few weeks before he wants to put 100 mil in and he wants to do business with him. All of a sudden, Nigel's don't want to know about Tommy Robinson and he's gone the other way. So, you know, strange, as a businessman, great. I think Elon Musk has made a bad decision by saying about the Tommy Robinson. I don't think he's got the full story about, you know, he thinks that Tommy Robinson is a miracle man and he wants this inquiry into all the rape cases. There's millions of people out there wanting inquiry into the rape cases. He just happens to have made it sort of put it out there, but everyone wants an inquiry into it, don't they? But I think Elon Musk has slipped out. I mean, nobody can get things dead right, and I think that's a bad mistake. I tell you what, I know what I would do if I was Nigel Farage. I'd get Donald Trump's opinion, what he thinks of Nigel Farage, because I would respect Donald Trump's decision, opinion, rather than Elon Musk. And I'll tell you now, Donald Trump will back Nigel Farage all day long. He would have him in the White House with him if Nigel Farage was to go. And, you know, we've already heard Donald Trump say, Nigel Farage, what a man he is. He's the bloke that can get the UK going. You know, I was at a thing with the Nigel Farage thing, and he come on the screen live, Donald Trump, saying what a great man Nigel is. And if anybody can get the UK going, it's Nigel Farage. I mean, you know, so if you had Elon Musk or Trump, who would you listen to?
Yourself, me personally, it would be Trump.
And me. And I think, yeah, that's it. But yeah, I've got no grievance against them people. You know, on a personal basis, Starmer I can't stand, and the other geezer can't. You know, waste of time. But on a personal basis, you know, I don't have an issue with them. You know, I wouldn't want to have a beer with them. But in the same token, I wouldn't want anything bad to happen to them. But I feel that they need to be removed from their positions because of the damage they're doing. Yes.
So you're obviously a supporter of reform. I am too. I'm a member, paid up, and been to some seminars. But I want to know why exactly you are a supporter of reform. What is it? Because they are different to the two parties that we've had before. Do you see something in Nigel? Why are you such a good supporter of reform and what they're trying to achieve?
Okay, well, I've always been conservative, and unfortunately, I've let us down badly over the last 14 years. You know, all this problem is not Labour's fault, but they're obviously going to make it worse. So there's no way I can support Conservatives no more. I like the energy with reform. I like, you know, what they're going to change and what they're going to do. And, you know, and you know, I have to say, you know, I believe they're the ones to stop the illegals coming in. You know, no one else is doing it. And, you know, I just think they've got a different approach. I think that, you know, they're not like all yes men and going along with the system. I mean, the other MP, what's his name, Rupert Lau or something? Is his name Rupert?
Low, yeah.
What a man he is.
He's fantastic,
and he's always got the sort of credentials to back it up. And I just think they're unstoppable. If I'm being honest, I mean, so unstoppable.
What's your thoughts then on Nigel's comments lately about mass deportation? Because he seems to have switched certainly the way he answers questions about illegal immigrants at the moment, saying basically that it won't be a quick fix. We wouldn't be able to just send them all out. It would be more about stopping the boats coming in. What's your thoughts on that? Do you think it's because now he's an MP, he's towing the line, or do you think there's a bigger picture to it, or what's your thought process on that?
I ain't got a clue, to be honest, why he's saying it. I haven't got a clue. I mean, if it was me in Nigel's position, I'll stick to it. They need to go. I mean, one word you just said, illegal. That's it. If they're illegal, they're illegal. And they've got nothing to offer us. Why he's moving it around? I mean, maybe ask Nigel that one. I don't know the answer. But if it was me, I would stick to illegal is legal. And we all know the biggest problem we have in the UK for the economy and the knock-on effects, NHS, housing, doctors, fire, roads, everything. It's because we're overloaded and we've got 100%. People that are pouncing off the country. Let's use that word because a lot of my haters don't like it. They're pouncing off the country. They're not contributing anything. They're making out there like asylum seekers. They're making out they're running away from war. I thought cowards run away from war. We got veterans on the street that have fought in wars and they're homeless and they don't get 2 bob. And you've got these people, they reckon they're running away from a war, and we're giving them that's one geezer there the other day, 800 quid a week he's getting, 7 kids, and they want to move him out of London to a bigger place, and he's screaming his head off. Can you believe it? He said 800 quid a week, and you've got all these, I don't know what you call them. I call them pests on the Twitter. They all coming on like, you've got no art. We got to look after them. We got to do this. Yeah, you look after them. You have them in your house. You pay for them. But normal, proper working class people do not want to be subsidised no more. We've all had enough of it. I paid in over 120 mil, over 100 mil, sorry, I'm reading the papers, into the tax system. And I'm not prepared to give our government any more money so that they can spend it on these type of people. Not at all. I'd help the NHS out, I'd help out charities, but I will not help these people no more. And that's it. I mean, simple as that.
Yeah, I'm in full agreement. I mean, what's getting me at the moment is that they are turning working hotels, shutting them down just to house these people. There's no wives, there's no kids coming across on these boats. They're all fighting age males, and I just don't understand how people can't see it. Because
Mark, they must be able to see it. Let's be fair. I mean, nobody could be that stupid. Nobody could be that stupid. They've got their phones. They're getting rid of their passports. I mean, and crime's going up, and the rapes and the stabbings and the burglaries and the thieving. They know, people know what's happening. Even these do-gooders that welcome them here and want to fucking sleep with them and all that. Some of them, right? They know that they're not right, and yet they still go. They're brainwashed people. I mean, we've been saying for 50 years in the UK that why should we pay for scroungers or people that can't contribute, and why should we do it? And we've had enough of it. And I'm all for anybody that's genuinely disabled, anybody that's genuinely can't work. I'm all for helping them people, not illegals, obviously. And I'm all for that, and they should get more. But anybody that can work and won't work, and it's just sort of, taking the piss out of the taxpayer, then I've got no time for.
Full agreement. Right. Well, finally then, Charlie, I want to talk to you about the capital city. This is something that you are really vocal about on X. I enjoy reading some of your posts. Very anti Sadiq Khan, which I am too. So just look at what London has become. Gangs, all-time high. Knife crime, machetes. Somebody died yesterday on a bus. A young lad got stabbed up and dead on a bus. It seems to be news now if it doesn't happen, rather than
yeah. Yeah.
You know, so there's two parts to this question. This is the final question. Has London fallen? And is there any coming back from where we are now? Part one. And part two, who is to blame for the state of...
Well, the part one bit, has London fallen? I've had a few disagreements on Twitter, not over rude, unless they're rude to me, of course. And I've got many people saying London ain't changed since the 70s, 80s, 90s. They're talking rubbish. I mean, they're either deaf, dumb and blind or just brainless. There's nobody can say that London has not got worse, like, and generally believe it. You know, as you just said, I mean, where's all the knife crime coming from? Where, you know, you can't walk the street, you can't even walk in the daytime now. You're being robbed and no, you know, there's no police on the street. I mean, I think last time I see a cop on the street was when I was a kid. You know what I mean? They're just not there no more. So has London gone down backwards? Yes, shockingly. I mean, it's like a third world country. You go down the street and you've got, like, you know, well, so it used to be Tom, Dick and Harry, but now it's like Mohammed, Abdel and one of their other names. You know what I mean? It's totally... London at this stage is the worst I've ever seen it, and unfortunately it will get a lot worse because of Starmer and the other geezer, Khan.
I think so too.
So London's back incredibly, man. And I've still got people on Twitter, they come on there and go, there's some pest on there now, Ian somebody, and he's saying, oh, you know, it's not gone back and you're this, you're that. I mean, are you for real, Ian? I mean, you cannot be all the ticket. Ask anyone that lives in London. Maybe you don't even live in London, but, you know, people that live in London, or I'm talking to people now, they haven't gone to London for 20 years. They won't go. They won't get on a train. They won't get on a bus. It's too dangerous. And, you know, unfortunately, figures show that. The facts show it, doesn't it?
100%.
And, you know, we've become a lawless city. And, you know, if you've got no control of it, then that's it. There'll be civil war soon.
Yeah, I mean, I've posted about that before. My wife wants to take my son to London. He's never been, but I'm just not happy about it. You know, I just don't want him anywhere near London. Just for anything could happen at any time, and I do think something's going to happen in this year for sure, all around Europe.
It will, Mark. You know yourself, a lot of people are very wound up at the moment, so everyone's on the edge that, you know, everyone's waiting to explode because, you know, we just you know, we've got no control of what's going on and the money that we're giving out. You know what I mean? I mean, I have to say this. I know it's not in the questions, but the government come up with, and they've said that for the last, I don't know, 12 months, two different governments. It's cost us 8 million a day for these illegals in hotels. It ain't cost us 8 million a day. That's nonsense. If you put the true figure there, with everything they're costing us, with all the people like helping them and getting them out of the river and you know, sort of educating them and, you know, giving them all the bits, it's probably costing us 50 million a day. Why don't the government come out with the true figures? I mean, I ain't no good at maths, but I'm telling you now, they've been saying 8 mil for probably 2 years now. And we all know that it's costing 50 million a day to put these people up that are not contributing to the UK economy. They've got no contribution whatsoever. So why would you allow that?
100%.
And that's what I'm saying. Everyone's so wound up with what's going on. Not everyone. Obviously, you've got the do-gooders and the pests that, you know, like got nothing else to do but, you know, make out that, you know, they're supporting them. And, you know, I've seen people sign, we welcome immigrants. Well, if you want them, you pay for them, you put them in your house. But we don't want them in the streets. Of course we don't. It's too dangerous. Sorry.
And that's why I like Rupert Lowe so much, because he is asking those questions. He is demanding these figures. He's demanding what costs are being forked out every day, and he does such good work. He'd be a great leader of reform, I think. Not that it's going to happen, but he's doing really good work, and I think he's the one that, you know, every day he's asking the right questions and saying the right things. So, yeah. I want to thank you for coming and talking to me.
All right, Mark, the second part of the question, you remember?
Oh, second part of the question. See, I keep forgetting. We go off on a tangent.
I think you're trying to get rid of me.
The second part of the question, who is to blame for this then?
There's many people to blame. I mean, it definitely ain't the hard-working taxpayer. It ain't them. I think you've got to really blame, you know, start with Starmer and the Labour. And I know this has been going on for years, and people that have been in the right position that should have put a stop on it. So there's a list non-stop. You know, in government, in sort of just general care, anybody I think that's encouraging this to happen is to blame for it. You know, of course, it's not all Starmer's fault. It's been going on for years. We could have put a stop on this. You know, we could have put a stop on it years ago. So anybody that's promoting it, encouraging it, I believe is to blame for it. And yes, I'm going to say Starmer's probably the main culprit because he's in the driving seat at the moment, and it was him that went to court and you know, managed to win or win the case that illegals. I mean, there's a giveaway, isn't it? Illegals are entitled to benefits. You know, so there's a lot of blame on him, but it's anybody that's been in a position that is allowing to happen what is happening. And Mark, the other question people always say, how can we stop it? How can we stop it? I say this all the time. It's dead simple. Stop the benefits. That stops the boats.
Correct.
And what do you think, Mark?
Yeah, 100%. We have to give them a reason why they shouldn't come here rather than a reason to come here. We're far too generous with what we allow them once they're here. You know, the thing that's upsetting me at the minute is Labour are fast tracking all of these through just to get them into. You know, we should be sending
what they are doing. You know, I mean, again, the information I have is that the reason they come, everyone knows why they come here, but we know it's benefits. But evidently, we give 40% more benefits than all the other countries. So you know, it's not a difficult thing. But as you say, if you stop the benefits, it's the end within a week. I mean, they won't be coming no more. I mean. They just won't be coming in. You know, why do we let them get off the boats and then let them roam around all the seaside towns? You know, if they've got them, they're illegally entering in the country. They put them on one of them barges, and you know it won't take long to fill it up, and then take them back. You know, why would you start looking after them and giving them medical and giving them homes and clothes and money? And I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, in that community of all the illegals, it's very well known between them what they can get and how they get it. You know, look, the system, they've got the system worked out, and that's why they come here, because they get more than any other country in the UK.
The scary thing is as well, you know, Starmer's got no mandate for it. You know, he had this big reset at the end of last year. Basically setting out all his plans, and immigration not even there. So that's scary in its own.
I mean, it's worrying, Mark. And look, as you know, I've left the UK. Of course, I've still got connections here, and you know, of course, I'm concerned about many people here of what they're going to have to put up with and go through. And people go to me, "Oh, you've jumped ship, Charlie, for tax." I haven't jumped ship for tax. I've paid all my taxes up to date. I don't owe two bob, never owed them nothing. But I'm just not prepared to give more money, and the reason is because they're wasting their money. You know, it's just wasting it. And, you know, but people are attacking me all day long. Oh, you're a coward. You just... No, I ain't. I'm a brave man. I've stood up and said, enough is enough. You stood up, Mark, and they put you in prison. Fortunately, you know, you proved them wrong. And that's what they do. And, you know, I'm in Dubai, so no one ain't going to knock on the door here. But, you know, I'm sure if I was in London, I'll get them round saying, you've said this, you said that. You know, it's nonsense. You know, the UK system has just gone. It's just gone. Where would you say? It's mad, isn't it? You would not believe this. What we're talking about here, would you now? And imagine, Mark, a year from now. I mean, they won't last. They're not going to last a full term. This government.
I don't think so.
February, I think, when the backstabbing will start, and then you know, here be gone the pest in there at the moment, and then it'll be them other creepy women that are around him. They'll be in there, and then it'll all be chaos. And I said from day one, when Labour get in, they'll be screaming to get out of government. Once they got going, they'll be screaming to get out. I tell you,
they haven't got a clue, Charlie. I mean, they're unfit to govern. With regards to Starmer as well, 20th of this month, we know what court case starts, and we know certain things are going to get out into the public domain. Reference Southport.
Yeah, but they hide it up, Mark, don't they? You know what they do. They're like, you know, the old school type, the handshake and all that nonsense. No, but they do, don't they? We all know what they're about. None of them are knock the other one till they want to get their position. They all like, you know, cover up, and it's the old school type job. I mean, you know, get them all out.
Yeah, they're terrible. I mean, I can't wait for them to be out. I'll stick with reform. I think they're the only ones that have got a genuine opportunity to take office, and I really do think that. And people laugh at me when you say that reform will be or Nigel Farage will be the next Prime Minister. But keep going as they are, and they've got every single chance.
Well,
to
they're the only one that's given us hope, Mark. And we can't be any worse off, can we?
No.
And if they was to do after things they do, reform, but it gives us hope. And they just seem to be more practical. They're not like these snooty lot that like can't even cross the road on their own, half of them in the government. And they're being realistic. Reform was saying we're getting there, we change this, we change that, and so many things that even normal people like us could change. Like why would you allow someone to come over here from wherever they're coming from and jump the queue in the NHS? It's nonsense. Crazy. And there was a pest on this Twitter the other day. No, he was on GBN News, and he said, "I think they should be allowed to jump the queue."
These are the people that are part of the problem, and
You're right.
I'm interacting with them every single day. I call them bedwetters myself. That's my term for them, bedwetters. They seem to
I'll
like
call them something else, but I won't say it. But what I'm saying, look, we'd love to have a little, debate on Twitter, but the amount of shit and name calling that goes on. Okay, I'll only go back to when they start on me personally. But some pest the other day, because I didn't agree with him, and he's saying, "Oh, you're a tosser." I was talking about the London thing, and then you react back. I said, "Well, you're a proper whatever," and but it's like it's just but Mark, I'm sure you got lots of haters.
Just
because you're outspoken, and I've got lots of haters, but I've also got many people agree with what I'm saying, and all day long I'm getting tweets saying well said and thanks for standing up. And look, I know we ain't done the pension thing, but come on, I mean, let's you know what I'm saying. I mean, and it's just nonsense, isn't it? I mean, what have we become? You know what I mean? And Mark, that probably a year from now we'll be overtaken by all the people that shouldn't be here, and what type of life we're going to have then. I've advised my family to get out of the UK until reform come back in. Not that they listen to me, but I'm just saying.
Charlie, I wish you only the best, mate. If I was in your position, I would be sat exactly where you are now. I can guarantee you of that. I just hope that you'll come back when reform get in. I'm
100%. Because I've left the country, don't mean that I still don't think a lot of it. Soon as it changes and that pest gets out and Nigel gets in, or someone in reform, I'll be back and I'll be helping with apprentices, and I'll be putting my money back in there and investing it. And of course I want the UK to do well again, but we're at the moment we're just heading for we're heading for the edge of the cliff. I actually think Labour will break the UK completely, absolutely destroy it, and then we will have to start again. That's what I think is going to happen. The longer that they're in, I mean, the questions asked, Mark. We got, would I employ these people in government? So you got the top 3 people in government. Would you employ them? Of course, the answer is no. I mean, I wouldn't employ them to. Obviously, I wouldn't employ them to. I would just want them. They're unemployable. They're unemployable, and they're running the country. And why do we have to tolerate that? They're not capable of the job. They're and it's just and look at giving out the honours and all that. I mean, come on. I mean, this calm thing. I mean, that needs to be. If they take his off him, and I'll give mine back. Take his back, and they can have mine. That's what I would do. I ain't got that knighthood thing, obviously, but the OBE. But that's how strongly I feel about it. Take his off him, and I'll give mine back in, because that man don't deserve one. I mean, I've got a friend that's raising money for cancer, like many people have, and he's had cancer twice, and he's car washing, he's going everywhere, and he's doing charities. Paul, his name is, and and they're the people that need to be recognised and honoured, not this whatever it's called, Khan, like the destroyer. Sorry, anyhow, I've gone in.
No, that's fine. I'm in full agreement with you. I think he's an odious little cretin. He's done nothing for London at all. The guy's a crap. Listen, thanks for coming on today, Charlie. I really do appreciate it. I've had a lot of your time, which I appreciate. I'll keep on following you. I'll keep on interacting with you on X. Thank you for coming on today, and I wish you only the best, mate.
Thanks, Mark, and I appreciate allowing my view. And I'm sure I love to hear people's opinion and what they think I've said, and and please, everyone have an opinion, but let's not try and get too personal.
No, not at all. We'll get it out there at 6 o'clock tonight. I'll send it to you beforehand so you can have a watch back.
Mark, just put it out there. I ain't said nothing I'll regret. I've said nothing I'll regret.
No, you haven't. You haven't. You say, it would be interesting to see if people's opinions have changed having hearing you talk today.
Well, what they start doing, Mark, they start saying, "Oh no, he's lying about this." But I'm saying that's the honest truth about the COVID. I didn't actually implement anything. So what have I done wrong? And it's all very well looking at years after it's all been and gone, 3 years down the line, but we're still being guided by the so-called professionals. Yeah. I mean, and if then they say there's another virus out there, isn't there? Another one from China. That's a shock, isn't it? I mean, this is to mess Trump up, obviously. But what do? You've got to make some decision, and I mean, it'd be lovely to know how many people actually survived by having the jab. I mean, I had friends, Mark. Everyone's got friends that died with so-called COVID. Many friends. Anyhow, thanks for having us on, and look forward to
the amount of people that were dying with COVID around the time was just improportional. I mean, I think COVID just got put on people's death certificates, whether they had COVID or not. Around that time. Listen, we'll leave it as that.
Mark, I just got to add one more. Sorry, mate. I know.
Go for it.
But it's like when we had the plague, isn't it? I mean, we couldn't do nothing with it. I know it's years ago. I think it sort of killed half of Europe, didn't it? I mean, half the population, I'm saying, because we done nothing. So how do we know? People with the COVID. I mean, London was just like 24 hours, like ambulance sirens, wasn't it? Boom, boom, boom. And so I think. Anyhow, that's enough about that. Thank you.
It's no problem, Charlie. I'll get this out there. I'm as keen as you are to see what people think and see what people say. Thank you so much, mate. I appreciate it, and maybe get you on another time.
Yeah, nice one.
Cheers, Charlie.
Lovely, mate. Thank you. Cheers. Well done.
Mate. Appreciate it.